52 days, 24 races, 10 countries. The 2018 UCI Women's World Tour was set to be bigger than ever before as the best in women's cycling battled it out over the course of 8 months. With 3 new events joining the World Tour calendar, there would be opportunities across all styles of racing. The end goal? Topping the standings and claiming that coveted UCI Women's World Tour leaders jersey. To look back on a dramatic season, we spoke to all of those who donned that very same garment over the course of the year to hear their 2018 season highlights.
I think the World Tour 2018 was even more exciting than compared to last year.
I like that we have more races added to our calendar. It also gives us more attention, more media attention, especially when we have a race next to men's race.
I'm very happy that most of the races are broadcasted live, where people can see it, can watch it, and can watch the action, because I think it has been great. From the start of the season until now, we've had epic races.
The opening race of the season would be Strade Bianche, and defending Women's World Tour champion Anna van der Breggen was looking to reacquaint herself with the jersey she'd secured in 2017.
It shows that you are strong the whole season. And it's nice to wear the jersey, and of course to win it in the end, it's even more special.
Of course, the day before Strade Bianche, everyone was freaking out about the really bad weather conditions that were waiting for us. And yeah, once start was given, of course it was a nasty fight. I would say it was like a survival race.
It was my first race, and you're always a bit excited, like how did I go in the winter and how's my shape? Yeah, I totally loved that race. I like the hills going up and down quite steep, also with the gravel sections. So winning that race was high on my list to try to win it once, and yeah, that it happened this year was a great start of the season. Yeah, it's always nice to wear the jersey and to start a season like that.
From Tuscany, the Women's World Tour would head to the Netherlands, where it would be another Dutch winner and a teammate of Van der Breggen's who would make their first mark on the season.
It was my first World Tour win, so I always worked hard for it, but actually this winter I was more focused on the track, so it was like, yeah, I will see how the road season starts and then start like this. Yeah, for me it was really surprising.
Every single year when I was coming there, I was like, okay, is it gonna be my year or not yet? And this year I just kind of felt it. Before the race, we were watching Milano-San Remo, and I still remember how inspired I was when I watched Nibali attack. Many times I was told, like, every single time when you attack, you look too much backwards, like you shouldn't be looking around. And I was like, okay, let's take this advice and like try to bring it to the finish line.
A moment of inspiration for Niewiadoma, rewarded with a race victory and the new lead in the UCI Women's World Tour standings, as she pulled on the leader's jersey for the second time in her career.
I immediately got a call from my dad, like, don't lose this jersey, you've got to bring it back to Poland. So I was like, okay, he cares so much, and it gives me just a nice feeling, because I feel like his happiness has a huge effect on me.
While it would be an Italian, 20-year-old Sofia Bertizzolo who would pull on the blue jersey as leader of the UCI Women's World Tour youth rankings. Kicking off a trio of Flemish classics and a new race to the UCI Women's World Tour calendar. Driedaagse de Panne Kokzijde saw the peloton battle the elements on their way from Bruges to the southwest coast of Belgium. Fittingly, it would be a home favourite who would christen the race with a win from a bunch sprint.
Yeah, it was really special. It was first of all a World Tour race, so a really big race, and it was in Belgium, and it was also on national television. So yeah, it was quite big for me, and I was really happy with it. Yeah, getting a win in the classics in the spring is always nice, especially being a Belgian.
Another chance for the fast finishers came 3 days later, as a former world champion rolled back the years to bag her first ever Women's World Tour win.
I really had the legs to win it, but then once again Marta Bastianelli won the race, and she really deserved it, and she proved it again. She's really strong. She really had a good season, so it wasn't a shame to lose from her. I came second in the race, but then they called me again on the podium, and I was like, yeah, why is that? And then they said, yeah, you have the World Tour leaders jersey. It's always nice to wear it. It makes you proud.
It was also cold again and raining, so that makes the race hard, and it makes also that you need to eat even better than normally, and that you need to wear the clothing not too long but also not too short, because otherwise you get cold.
A quality group, including Women's World Tour leader Jolien Dora, were unable to make the most of the early chaos, opening the door to Anna van der Breggen to launch another stunning solo effort.
Winning Flanders was, in this way, was also really cool. It's a big race. Especially in Holland and in Belgium, it's one of the biggest races you can win, so to win it once was a really special feeling.
27 kilometres alone for the Dutch woman sealed her place on the top step of a Flanders podium for the first time in her career. Runner-up would be teammate and new UCI Women's World Tour leader, Amy Pieters.
That's a race that you always dream about, to be in the podium. But I always looked far away, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I hope I can be on the podium, and you train for it. But yeah, if you become second after your teammate, yeah, then it's really special. It was a really special day for the whole team. And then even the World Tour jersey after that was another surprise. And I was really proud that I could wear it in Amstel, in your own country.
I was very focused on the Amstel, and it was a really special feeling to race there in the rainbow jersey. A lot of people screamed my name. And then I came in the break, which was already very cool. And halfway the race, I came in the position that I actually could race for the win, because the peloton was okay with the group, and I also felt pretty confident. But I still needed to do it.
By out-sprinting compatriot Lucinda Brand, Chantal Black would become the third Bulls Dolmans rider to don the leader's jersey in the 2018 UCI Women's World Tour. She wouldn't hold it for long though, as teammate Anna van der Breggen regained control at the next hilly classic, Flèche Wallonne.
This was, I think, the first time it was a really sprint on the Muur itself. So, of course, it's strange to win a race 4 times in a row. And I think I can say the final really suits me. So that's what I like about that race.
I think my team really stepped up. We showed that we were with more girls in the final, and especially Ananda Spratt. It was very fun to race together with her, and I think Liège-Bastogne-Liège was one of the best team performances we had this spring, and ended up being second and third in this race.
A daring attack from Spratt would be closed down by a determined van der Breggen, who would then drop the Australian on the ramp up to the finish in Ans.
I was really happy with that, to win 2 of the 3 races there, because everybody was saying it's going to be so difficult for you, because last year you won the 3 races in the Ardennes. So actually, if you start that next year, then the only thing you can do is losing it. And I really didn't have the feeling, of course, after those races that we lose anything.
In May, the UCI Women's World Tour travelled to China for the tour of Chongming Island, typically a happy hunting ground for the sprinters. Stage 2, however, would deliver a surprise as a plucky group of 5 turned the race on its head.
I think that was the first time it happened in China. Like that day, everybody was every team was too relaxed that we would chase them down, and then people just didn't. And I don't know why or what the reason was, or the breakaway stayed away and they won the GC. Charlotte Becker is a really strong rider, and the team High Tech Products, they really deserve it. So I think the win in China gave them a bit of a boost.
It's nice, it's something different for sure. Racing in US, it's just different than in Europe. Everyone is like more chilled, I would say. Like no one is going so crazy ever since start is given. And yeah, you know, once you have an opportunity to race in a beautiful place, you really appreciate it.
Stage 2, raced at just under 2,000 metres altitude, saw an opportunity for the climbers to take the stage and the GC.
I felt okay till a certain point where I just like felt empty. So I was like, okay, this is what attitude means.
Instead, it would be the American duo of Taylor Wiles and Katie Hall who would duke it out for the victory, with Hall bagging a second stage win in California in consecutive years and taking the overall general classification. As the UCI Women's World Tour returned to European shores, it would be a first ever visit to the Basque Country for a new stage race to the calendar.
Also, Bira is a race that I never expected I could win in stage there. I came in a breakaway and I went to that race to help Anna. I help where I can and I do my best. And if you can come back with a stage win, then it's extra nice.
Ananda Spratt was continuing her form last seen in the Hilly Classics, kicking off what would be a dream 2 months for her team with overall GC victory.
It was so good to see that we really played it out so well with Ananda Spratt, Andy, and more cards to play, and it was great fun there. And I think for her it was so nice to see her winning there in that beautiful race.
I broke my collarbone on the track, on an outdoor track, and then I had surgery in Belgium the day after. So I was 3 days off my bike, and the 4th day I was already on the rollers. I wanted to race again, and my first race back was a women's tour. Once you see the finish line as a sprinter, it doesn't matter how much you were suffering during the race, you can always sprint, so that was the case with me.
Stage 2 winner Corinne Rivera would ultimately claim the GC victory, despite the efforts of runner-up Marianne Vos and her Wild Deals team.
For me, it was great to be there, but to be there together with a teammate Danny Rowe this time, and to go for as high as possible classification, that was fantastic. In the end, we couldn't beat Corinne Rivera, but yeah, we did what we could.
I think the Bira was a bit like a pre-race into our big goal of the Giro Rosa this year. We targeted it as a team, and we're talking about it in November already. I suffered so much there in the team time trial, and only we got second, but only 1 second behind the world champion team, the Sunweb. Coming into second, I think we had a great kickoff.
I won the 2 sprint stages, and then we went into the mountains, and then Spready won the first one, and then Annemiek started winning.
As an athlete, you're always insecure. You don't know how your level is exactly. I knew that I prepared very well for the Giro Rosa, and we worked very hard for it, but in the end, to win with a difference like more than 2.5 minutes on my first competitor, that gave me goosebumps.
For the first time since 1997, there would be a summit finish on the Monte Zoncolan, and it would see an epic battle between Ashley Moolman-Passio and a flying Annemiek van Vleuten, who went on to seal a stunning overall win with 2 consecutive stage victories.
That was a very special moment, realizing like, whoa, we really did it together after 10 days of hard racing, and to have every day all the girls riding in front of me. When I see the pictures, it's give me goosebumps that they were giving everything for me to win the GC.
I was not there, but I was following it from the car. I had to stop my car to watch the live stream. It was one of the most, I think, iconic finishes I've ever seen. For me, that was a race I was not in, but I will never forget.
I'm super proud of the performance we had in that race. But as a whole women's peloton, we were live on television and we really showed that women's cycling is very exciting, and I was part of it. I was a player in it. I cannot remember that I suffered so hard as I did in this race, and in the end I felt like I just started the suffering, let's finish it off. And that moment came that I felt like, hey, she is dying.
Hauling her way to the wheel of Anna van der Breggen. Is Van Vleuten going to get her on the line? It is literally going to be a victory in the last 20 metres.
I really fight for that win, and in the end it just didn't work out on a couple of meters, so that's never nice, but yeah, my grandma said I don't look on a couple of meters, so you are the winner for me.
After such drama at La Course, the peloton needed to catch their breath, although not for too long before fast, frenetic racing returned at the Prudential Ride London Classique. Kirsten Field bagging her second win in 3 years in the British capital, ahead of team time trial action in Western Sweden.
So it was a test to see how we are and where we have to work on. On the first time split we were behind. We didn't know it was a minute, but we knew we were third or fourth place. So, and then if you pass the finish line and you hear you win, then you're actually more happy.
It's always either a breakaway makes it or will it be a bench sprint. So there's a lot of different riders that can win the race and that aim for the victory. Danny Rowe, she put me in a perfect position. And then it was just following my intuition. And I felt a lot of sprinters coming at my right side, which was the corner to the right. It's 300 meters, so it's still a long way, but then I just went.
With Sofia Bertizzolo still the youth classification leader and Van der Breggen retaining the overall classification jersey, teams had a further chance to prove their team time trial skills as the UCI Women's World Tour made the short hop to Norway. Team Sunweb, the world champions, would go one better than the runners-up finish they'd achieved in Vårgårda, taking the spoils from Mitchelton Scott. Next, it was time for a 3-day stage race, primed for the sprinters.
I already knew that it's a stage race that suits me, suits me pretty well. But yeah, being able to go there for every stage and win every stage, and finally the general classification, I could have never dreamed of that.
3 stages, 3 wins for Vos. Her dominance would translate into the overall race victory too. And it didn't end there. She would now have the honour of donning the leader's jersey for the first time in her career at the next stop on the UCI Women's World Tour in France's Breton region.
For me then to get the purple jersey for the first time, it was special. And of course it's great to get that recognition of the results you make during the season. This year it was hard, but with the headwind from the last climb to the finish, it was hard to stay away. And then it was a sprint of a smaller group, where I maybe made a little mistake, but also Amy Peters was very strong, so she took the win, and I got second. So yeah, again, I think a very good result in that purple jersey.
It started with a prologue. I really like to smash it like in a super short time trial. And then winning with there with 7 seconds ahead of the number 2. That was like, ooh, I'm in good shape. In the Giro Rosa I felt a lot of pressure, but for the Bulls Ladies Tour I targeted, but not like Giro Rosa. So it was so cool just to play and race with my team and play with Ananda Spratt.
Mitchelton Scott's perfect teamwork saw Van Vleuten hold on for a solo win on stage 2 before sealing overall victory with an emphatic performance in the final day time trial. At the end of the week's racing, Van Vleuten would also become the 6th rider of the season to zip up the UCI Women's World Tour Leaders jersey.
It's great to have an event during the Vuelta and to have the finish in Madrid. With the new setup with the TTT, it was for everybody. You had to feel what's going on and how it will it develop for the general classification.
On day 2, Giorgia Bronzini would bring the curtain down spectacularly on her career with one final sprint win on the streets of Madrid.
Over the last years, she maybe not has won as much as earlier in her career, but the dedication and passion, that makes a difference, and it was great to see her take the victory in Madrid, and yeah, to make a victory salute as a salute to say goodbye to her career.
After the legendary Italian took her last bow, Sunweb's Ellen van Dijk could savour her overall classification win in the Madrid Challenge. With one final race still remaining at the Tour of Guangxi on October 21st, Sofia Bertizzolo of Astana has already sewn up the UCI Women's World Tour Youth Rankings.
È speciale perché sai che denota una costanza di tutto l'anno, sai che hai cominciato l'anno bene, poi noi siamo una squadra anche molto giovane, quindi è veramente una maglia che io vorrei vestissero tutte le mie compagne, perché la maglia delle giovani in un team giovane che lavora insieme, quindi è veramente speciale.
Through 23 races, 6 different riders have at some point held the overall leader's jersey. But it's Annemiek van Vleuten who will head to China for a coronation as winner of the 2018 UCI Women's World Tour.
To have such a consistent season with my team is really nice to win the World Tour in the end. I'm also proud to wear the jersey in the last race of the Women's World Tour calendar, and that will be in China. I will be there and I will be very proud to wear the jersey. And it's a nice reward of having a very consistent and very beautiful season with a lot of beautiful wins.